Naira,
Ekal-nêbi, the Fallen Palace.
Tier 2 and Tier 3 walkthrough.
Like all the bosses in this instance, this one also has a specific effect, Domination, that gets applied to everyone in the group in various ways. Mostly, there is no avoiding it tearing up. Unlike first boss, there is no dot attached to this effect. Instead, the higher tier someone in the group is, the more skills the boss unlocks. From 0 to 1 tiers, there are no additional skills unlocked. Between Tier 2 and Tier 3, the boss unlocks her distributed attack, Vision of Demise. From Tier 4 to Tier 6, the boss unlocks a cleansable fear that initially roots you. From Tier 7 to Tier 9, she can now permanently root someone. The player targeted by the root will also receive a permanent damage over time effect. At Tier 10, she is able to perform Destroy Mind. This attack will make you unable to perform skills for 60 seconds. On Tier 2 difficulty, your domination tiers will be removed after the 60 seconds. On Tier 3, it will kill you. I will explain further later. First and foremost is the Welling Dread Wound effect. This effect is applied to whoever has aggro. It has 5 tiers and deals damage over time. If cleansed on Tier 1, 2, and 3, it will kill everyone in a 25-meter radius. Tier 4 and 5 can always safely be cleansed. The initial application of the effect will also grant you 1 tier of domination. Bend Will is a 10 seconds induction. The boss will target 1 player at random. This player will immediately get 1 tier of domination. If the induction is not interrupted, the player will get 1 extra tier every 3 seconds, so make sure you interrupt it immediately. Gaze of the Eye will apply 1 tier of domination to everyone. This cannot be avoided. She will use this ability approximately every 20 seconds. After about 15 seconds, she will Call Shadows. This summons 2 Shadow Seekers that pulsate damage to everyone in the room until they are killed. The Shadow Seekers are summoned on one of the players in the group. Therefore, it is a good idea to group up tightly behind the boss and making them spawn close enough to be AoE'd down. If their gray induction, Clinging Shadows, is not interrupted, they will spawn a puddle that lasts for 5 minutes. Your CC'er can use an AoE stun or daze on them once they begin their induction to stop this from happening. When the Shadow Seekers are killed, they will spawn a new puddle. Vision of Demise is a distributed attack targeted on a player. Initially, the player will be rooted and everyone around them knocked away. Run back to your rooted teammate, indicated by 4 yellow arrows pointing on them, similar to those from the Hunter's Heartseeker, and a red eye above their head. As a bonus, this attack also removes all rooted effects from everyone that is struck by the attack. The tank should be able to survive this attack on their own just fine. However, everyone else might need to group to avoid damage. Overwhelming Despair is a fear that can be applied to players with more than Tier 4 domination. It deals significant damage over time, and when it is cleansed or expires, it will spread to everyone around you in a 5-meter radius. It should be cleansed quickly and away from everyone else. The tricky part is that the fear is coupled with a root, meaning once you get the fear, you cannot move. Your teammates will have to move away from you instead. If the boss performs her distributed attack and you are hit, your root will be removed, as mentioned earlier, and you can safely move away yourself and cleanse. If someone reaches Tier 7 of Domination, the Vision of Doom is able to spawn. This is a slow-walking vision that will beeline for the player with the Vision of Doom effect on them. This is indicated by a white eyeball. Once this vision comes close to them, it will explode and deal 75% shadow damage to them. On Tier 3 difficulty, it will also give them a further tier of domination. Haunting Specter is an added mechanic for Tier 3 difficulty. The boss will call upon a Specter that will home in on your healer. They will specifically only target your healer with their attacks. Occasionally, it might run near someone else and bonk them with a casual auto attack. However, their special abilities are limited to the healer only. They will mark your healer with Haunting Mark, giving them minus 25% run speed. At the same time, they will continue to spawn puddles on your healer. It's important to be precise about your placement as a healer. You don't want to fill up the entire room with puddles, especially not where the curtain pulls will later pop. The healer can move slightly away from the group to avoid spawning puddles on them. It's possible to stack multiple puddles in the same area. However, it might be difficult to heal depending on your healer. The faster you are in the first phase, the less your team will be tiering up Domination. Ideally, no one is tier 7 or above. This will avoid someone potentially being permanently rooted during the entire Darkness phase. It's especially an issue if your tank remains rooted throughout. At 50% health, the boss begins her Engulfing Darkness ability. The room will turn dark, and your goal is to use the curtain poles to bring light back into the room. During this phase, the boss will continue to heal gradually over time. As such, it can be beneficial to apply healing reduction to the boss if you have any available. During the Darkness phase, the boss is unable to perform any of her special attacks. You will not be tiering up Domination. At the same time, the boss now attacks at random, and your tank can no longer hold aggro on her. As a yellow burglar, you can disable her during this phase because she's not taking any damage anyway. At this point, your tank needs to be grabbing aggro of all the newly spawned Shadow Guardians with ranged abilities. He shouldn't be leaving the group and running around. Your debuffer can daze one of the Shadow Guardians far away. This is the time to be using defensive cooldowns like In Harm's Way, Piercing Roar, Our Fates Entwined, Trickster, etc. The first objective is to get rid of the haunting specters before the entire room is filled with puddles, and to relieve your healer from a lot of stress. Of course, this is only relevant for Tier 3 difficulty. Be careful not to bring the specters close to the curtain poles, as this will make puddles spawn, and you need this area to be clean. Once all the haunting specters are down, it's time to take out the Shadow Guardian. To make it even harder, 3 Shadow Terrors will also spawn from time to time. Again, it's important that your tank grabs aggro of these because they apply dots to anyone hit by them. It's a good idea to interrupt their yellow induction because it is a room-wide attack, and your healer is most likely already under a lot of stress, so help them out by interrupting the ghosts. We usually let the captain or mariner use the curtain pole. Your debuffer can also do it, however, we prefer that the debuffer is free and able to continue CCing and debuffing. If you are struggling to stay alive during this phase, you can take out some of the Shadow Terrors. Another option might be to move as a group and not splitting up too much. The faster you do this phase, the less the boss will have healed, making the last phase easier. Continue this until all 4 curtain poles have been used. Light will flood back in the room, all tiers of Domination will be reset to 0, and it's time to give the boss a good nuke. The first 30 seconds after light has returned, the boss will receive the Revealed effect. This makes her take 50% more damage, so it's important that she's quickly debuffed. Ideally, you make sure this is done during the Darkness phase, and then give her a good nuke with Oathbreakers right away. This last phase is exactly like the first phase, so continue to do what you did in the first phase. That's all for now. Best of luck to you and your group.